through.
30 seconds and Mike Bunning with Rudy's first time on the air horn, so good luck, lots of pressure.
Welcome back, friends. Spring has sprung, and that usually means volunteering my time in a fire tower. But this year started out differently. My wife and I had the privilege of providing medical support for this year's Wildflower Triathlon. The Wildflower Experience is a renowned triathlon and outdoor festival held annually in California at Lake San Antonio. The event offers a unique blend of challenging endurance races and vibrant community festivities, earning it the nickname Woodstock of Triathlons. It was established in 1983 and has grown from a modest gathering into one of the most iconic triathlon events globally. After facing cancellations due to drought conditions and the COVID-19 pandemic, the event is making a comeback in 2025.
From Bedford Hills, Bogey is 57 years young. Here comes Christian Spirit at 58 from Santa Barbara. These ladies are defying their age. Also, James and Joel are racing father, son in the Olympic, and you're putting your
One of our top women in the dark raspberry it is, in that first wave of women, 39 and under. Gregory Bowe, Austin, Texas. Thanks for making the trip. 10-mile bike and 2-mile run. So it's 500 in the water, and that's meters. So it's sort of out to the green buoy, turn around and come back.
And for our athletes who are on the dock who are looking at the swim, it's keep all your buoys on your right. Randy Lee from Dallas, Michael Freed from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Thanks for coming all the way out.
You got those stairs?
Come on, Chew! Yeah, you are.
Yo, you got these stairs? You got these stairs?
All right, for those of you who are still down here at the swim finish, we know you're waiting for someone you love.
Oh yeah! Sprint gravel finish! Coming on in! Ethan Murray! Representing LA Track Club there with his kit.
All right, thank you, Team Roca, for holding the finisher's tape. Good job, Josh.
Oh yes! Welcome in, 4th place overall. Wildflower Sprint Gravel. Yeah!
But how do you feel, Dan? Are you excited to knocking another event out of the park? Dan Enfield in his 70s, ladies and gentlemen. 70 years old. Oh, 68. 68, Dan.
And Gilbert Pina just finishing from San Diego.
Hey guys, thank you very much for volunteering. Oh, no, you're good. Thank you. Appreciate you.
We're in trouble now. Here comes Julie Moss. Goodness gracious.
San Diego Tri Club!
Make some noise.
Wildflower! You see my tag?
Oh, we got some youngsters hanging their way here. Doing spring.
1, 2, 3, Wildflower!
As I mentioned previously, the beginning of May marks the start of fire season for me as a volunteer fire lookout. It begins with orientation and training before returning to the towers in June.
Welcome, especially the new folks that are coming to the program. The Black Rock Foundation has a long history of working here on the district, staffing our lookouts, and really being a part of the district. The biggest thing I can say is as new volunteers, you're coming into the program, remember that, yeah, you're part of the foundation, you're part of that history and supporting the foundation, but you also got to remember the public see you as just another facet of our operation in the district.
Here we have, this is a kind of a Fort Sierra National Forest map. You see a bigger area, and you see these squares here. So these are going to be townships.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, so I should say ZM, which zone, or in our case it's group, but this is how it's programmed.
But Monty's losing.
So what?
Go do.
Okay, here, so let me run you real quick. I didn't change that, sorry.
This is either something which either your inner child comes out, and you really enjoy it, or you think, this is what my worst enemy wants me to look like a fool with.
You're looking through here and you're trying to find this horsehair. Did you put this horsehair on this phone? You're trying to see.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
A friend from work expressed interest in becoming a fire lookout volunteer. Alan and his son Bradley joined me for a weekend of camping in Kings Canyon National Park before attending this year's orientation.
Oh, I got it in my shirt.
Nice.
Oh,
One of my favorite meals is pepper steak with mashed potatoes. When I discovered that Chef Corso from YouTube had his own pepper steak recipe, I had to give it a try on this trip.
Hey. That turned into potatoes real quick. What do you think?
Really good.
I'm gonna have to make this on my next backpacking trip, man. I'll take to those instant mashed potatoes, a couple veggies, some beef jerky. That's a good deal.
My favorite trail in the Grant Grove area of Kings Canyon National Park is the Big Stump Loop, which takes you to where the Mark Twain tree once stood. After years of research, I put together a little history lesson which draws attention to historical locations along the loop.
I told Alan and Bradley that they used to use this stump for square dancing. So I have a mission for you.
Yeah.
This used to be the site of a sawmill
Yeah.
in the 1800s. And if you dig down through the snow,
Yeah.
you're going to find sawdust from the 1800s. You can't function with it.
That ice is pretty packed down at the bottom. Let me see that stick there.
Alright, wait, let's get.
Don't make it icy.
I'm just trying to make the get the powdery stuff out.
Well, you can hear how hollow it is, right? Hear how hollow?
Yeah.
That's the sawdust under there.
This was the site of the Smith Comstock Mill in the early 1880s. These early milling operations significantly impacted the Sequoia groves.
So this is the site of the old sawmill.
This led to the preservation efforts that eventually resulted in the establishment of General Grant National Park in 1890. Our next stop was at a sequoia stag, which looks the same now as it did in 1867. The trunk would fill with snow during the winter and provided refrigeration for the workers at the mill all summer long.
So cool.
Oh, it's so cold in here.
Yeah, it's a little nip. So that's why it was used to hold snow.
Makes perfect
That is so. Wow. It's 1867. It's a pretty tight fit. Oh.
I'm not sure how well you can make it out from here.
C.C. Curtis was a photographer who moved his family to this spot in 1888. They built their home and a photography studio on top of this stump.
When this was a logging operation, there was a photographer from the valley who would come up, and he didn't have any interest in logging the trees. He's a photographer, so he would take pictures of the operation and the tree cutting and the family and the life of the sawmill. Okay.
This was the Mark Twain tree. It was cut down to be used as a display because people in the eastern United States didn't believe California's massive sequoias were real. The reason it was named after Mark Twain is not really known, but it's likely due to Twain's time in California during the Gold Rush era and his writing about the region. At that time, naming natural wonders after famous figures was a common promotional tactic. I had to leave and return to work as soon as orientation was over, but I'd be back at Kings Canyon National Park and the Sierra National Forest 2 weeks later for training. I was able to camp at the Arrowhead Hotshot Base since they hadn't yet arrived for the season. I had the entire camp to myself, which was a unique experience. I had planned to film several activities around camp, but quickly changed my mind because it was too darn cold. I decided to button up my tent while waiting for the sun to come out, but it never did. That was a good decision because there were several brief rain showers a short time later. I took a short stroll to a nearby meadow in hopes of seeing some wildlife, but there weren't any. The trail leads to Sequoia Lake, which is only 2 miles away, but that's for another day.
I am the District Fire Management Officer on the Hume Lake District. For those that are not familiar with that, that is the south side of the Kings River between the park and the river, and then the Sierra is the north side of the river, north side of the Kings River. So you guys, most of the lookouts see both sides of the river. Technology has changed how we do business across the board, okay? But the lookouts are still an integral part to our operation on the district. And the reason I say that is if you're on the district staff in a tower, you're gonna hear us all the time, calling the towers. You're a set of eyes that are live. Okay, when I'm driving on the 180 responding to a fire, I can't pull up the webcam that everybody else is watching. I can't pull up the satellite, I can't pull up the Modus, I can't pull up all this other great technology in my vehicle when I'm driving through an area that has no cell service. Okay, so you are our link. And so my staff or myself or my assistant or whoever's out there, they're gonna be calling you for that live real-time information on what that fire is doing, because that helps us make decisions. And it's a part of the lookout community that's been kind of lost. You know, we had a good lightning bust last year in 2024. It was phenomenal. I mean, I hadn't seen lightning like that in the valley floor, coming across the valley floor into the foothills like that in a long, long time. Normally we have high elevation Sierra Nevada thunderstorms that crest and then they slide off either side, east or west. When they do drop off the west, those are what we call the fun ones because they come off the crest, they slide down to the west and they run fire all the way down the hillside with lightning bolt after lightning bolt. For those that were on that day, for any that was staff in the towers, you heard us calling all the time, trying to get information like, hey, you seeing strikes over here, seeing strikes over there, what's it doing, are you seeing any smokes? Because we're trying to assess where to put people. We had no resources in all of Fresno County if we had a new fire. We had everything on the Sequoia assigned to those fires. Everything from Fresno County on the east side of the 99 was all committed to wildland fires on the north side of the Sierra and the south side on the Sequoia side of Fresno County, chasing fires. And a lot of fires, we just burned them together because we just didn't have enough resources to staff them all individually. So we just boxed them and put them together.
This year's training was unique because it ended with a field trip to the Fresno Air Attack Base. I was finally able to put faces to the voices I hear on the radio and in the air.
So I'm sure you're all super familiar with this by now, but we keep this around up here so we can plot the fires for ourselves. AFF, automated flight following, about every 2 to 3 minutes this updates. So it's not quite real time, but near real time. We use this to track all firefighting aircraft. This is flight aware, it just gives me radar for the weather and then commercial aircraft. It does show the fire aircraft as well.
So here's the air base, Forest Service Air Base. When we get a call, did you just come from upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, so Matt told you how it works. Maybe it's a going fire, so we maybe get 6 more air tankers. So pretty soon now we got 8 air tankers working out of here, or 10 or 12 working out of here, just loading and going, loading and going. So that's kind of the business. Here's an example. I'm not going to shake it, but so that's salt. Just settle. The story I tell is when you cook pancakes, mix up the batter. It's flour, water, egg, sugar, whatever. You put it in, you're cooking it, it bubbles, you flip it over. What happened to the top of that pancake?
It got brown.
Why did it brown?
Because it got hot cooked, but isn't that usually the sugar?
Huh, good. So you caramelize the pancake.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So I'm gonna show you how fire retardant carbonizes the fuel. Because it's carbon. Carbon doesn't burn, does it? No. No. Untreated fuel, treated fuel. Old fire retardant. It's not wet. See if I can get this to work. So here we go. Complete consumption. Complete consumption. Going a little slow. Here it comes up to this line. Ready? Oh. And then you smell ammonia. It lets out propanes, butanes, all that, but there it is. Now, sustained heat. You've carbonized it. That's why it's working. Carbonize the fuel. It's powder, just like that powder I have over there. It's full of powder. There's a hose that goes to the truck, and then it goes up into, see where that black bag is? It's an adductor. So you're pumping water into the adductor, and it's creating a Venturi effect and low pressure, and it sucks powder. So you suck that powder up, and you're mixing it as you go, and there's a recipe. It's 1800. Comes into this micromotion meter, $15,000 meters to work on the Coriolis effect. And there are 2 tubes in it. With water, they're steady, but with any other density, it creates a harmonic. That harmonic is measured and determine the weight, specific gravity of that retardant. That's our quality control as it goes out to the sun. That's what's happening here.